Hey, what's going on, guys? Mike Glover here. Today we're talking about helmets. Not the most interesting topic, but I promised not to bore you. Specifically, I want to give you context for some of the gear and equipment that I've used over my military special operations career and make that translation for a lot of you who are into gear and equipment and you're a civilian. So there is a military transition or translation here of the use of helmets and its relationship to why maybe you should need a ballistic helmet yourself. So the question is, Mike, would us as civilians have a need for this? And the answer is unequivocally yes, yes, yes. The reason being is because one, it affords you the protection, but it also affords you the adaptability and the tactical advantage of owning the night. There's a reason why special operators go overseas, intentionally putting themselves in worst case scenarios and coming out on top. It is the skill sets, it's the training, it's the assessment, the selection, the enablers, all that, but it's also these. So why would you need this? Well, why would you not? Like if you're a hunter, if you're in a remote, austere environment, overlanding because you want to be away from people like I do, like I'm not a fan of people. I want to be able to own the night, see what's in my environment. People even ask me like, Mike, we talk about this in home defense, like why would you ever do that? Again, why would you not? Like I have a SIG 320X carry Legion with a suppressor with an infrared surefire light tethered to the gun with night vision by my nightstand. That's kind of crazy, don't you think? No, I think it's crazy not to do that. Because if you have the budget, that's the real constraint. Let's be honest. The real constraint is budget. But if you have the budget, then when I look at my home versus my car versus my self-defense, my personal defense, I look for the tactical advantage. So let me tell you first and foremost, my feeling on body armor and ballistic helmets. I don't like them. I just don't like them. My first rotations in Afghanistan as a Green Beret in a remote fire base showed me or demonstrated to me why I did not like them, especially operating at 10,000 feet and above in the Hindu Kush. We would have infantry units, Army, Marines that were attached to us to do combat operations in the hills of Afghanistan, and we didn't have body armor on. We were carrying like tactical Taylor chest rigs, and these poor infantrymen were buried in kit. Ballistic helmets weighing down their heads, and then every single piece of body armor, like the groin protector, the side plates, every piece, even their shoulders and their elbows were protected by ballistic body armor. Now there's a time and place. Certainly there's a time and place, but when you're conducting mobile operations where you have to physically infiltrate and move, not the best tactic. So I see a lot of guys that are civilians demonstrating their shooting skills with equipment. And that's good because, you know, to technically gun handle and shoot, move, and communicate with kit is essential. But you'll never see me like purposely trying to don this stuff unless, and there isn't unless, I need the upgraded level of equipment. So I'm likely to grab this helmet with these nods and this ear protection over actual body armor because I have my battle belt. In fact, I have another video where I talk about my battle belt where it's all my go-to-war equipment on my person that I can readily access anytime I need. And when it looks like I'm going to have to don equipment, this is what I want on my head. Not just for the ballistic rating of getting shot, because that's certainly a thing. I have buddies who have been shot in the head. I have a friend of mine who was one of my team guys when I was a team sergeant in 19th Special Forces Group, who was shot in the head with the PKM. Really gnarly hit. They thought he was dead because it knocked him unconscious at the breach point, and they bypassed him and secured the objective like they should. But the helmet certainly saved his life. I grew up in special operations using helmets to carry equipment. So we had Gentexes for military freefall operations that used to be able to mount chem lights to the back of our helmets to identify where we were at night. Then we started jumping night vision goggles. And then we had helmets that weren't very streamlined. So let me tell you the evolution of the Ops Corps helmet because I know I was part of the experience. The reason we needed the Ops Corps cut is because a lot of us early in the global war on terror were cutting our ballistic Kevlar helmets, the K-pot helmet. Like the worst thing ever is like the Ninja Turtle helmet that you wear that covers almost your entire face and will compress your disc, I know because I get the disability from it, and does nothing for you when it comes to war fighting. So the idea of the Ops Corps came from, hey, if I'm a sniper and I have to get a cheek weld stock on my weapon system, how was I going to do that when the Kevlar helmet didn't afford me that opportunity? And when you're wearing these kind of ear protection, which is audible, it allows me to hear a little bit better, but it offers the protection from explosions and gunshots. How was I going to stuff that underneath my Kevlar helmet? Impossible is what I would say. Impossible, not impossible, impossible. So we had the requirements that we wrote asking U.S. Army Special Operations Command, and that was one of the requirements. Another was military freefall operations. If you're jumping with a very heavy helmet, in fact, let me reference a good buddy of mine from Tier Tactical named Chris Van Zandt, because Chris, I think, literally wrote the paperwork to get Special Operations Command, Special Forces Command, the actual Ops Corps helmet. Like, that's how intimate this is. So Chris Van Zandt wrote it because of military freefall operations. If you're wearing a Kevlar helmet and you pull your parachute ripcord, and that opens your chute, from going from terminal velocity to like, I got a chute over my head, that would break your neck. So we needed more lightweight helmets capable of carrying night vision, offering this the ability to get into a weapon system and fight, and that was where it came from. So I remember early on in the global war on terror, I wore a K-pot, like a Kevlar helmet. Then we started cutting our helmets, like literally found a guy on BIOP, Baghdad International Airport, that was a mechanic, and he had a saw, and he band-sawed our helmets so we could remove the outer lip layer that's actually still on the helmets. We removed that with heat, cut it, and then reattached it. And now we had these low-vis helmets that we're able to operate with. Before that, we actually had PVS 15s, which are super heavy night vision goggles. We had to counterbalance them with weights. What? Like, we took steel plates and bolted them on the back of our helmets to counter the weight of the 15s, because the 15s would do this and you couldn't strap it hard enough on the back of it. Crap show. I'm gonna keep this clean because I don't want the analytics. We're gonna keep it clean. So very problematic. Then we started using aviation nods, which are lightweight aviator nods. So I used AVS 6s, multiple combat rotations that are more fragile, not as ruggedized, but would lighten the weight and allow me to use a cut helmet with the ear protection to operate. So I went through that whole series, and then we get to this point where, man, this is like the weight of a PVS 15, like complete, like everything, right? Now I have lightweight PVS 31s that allow me to run a battery, single battery in the front to operate these night vision goggles, where I don't have to have a wired system to a battery pack that I think we carried two AA's on one side and two AA's on the other side. And we could switch battery compartments. When I was in USASOC, we had that set up. So, what are we doing? Now I have that lightweight night vision capability up front, and then I have the rail system to add multiple accessories. I did a post recently where I talked about the integration of lights into helmets. We were shoe gooing lights, flashlights, to our helmets. Shoe goo. Nothing high speed, like literally gluing them and then just sticking it on there, and then we could hit the back of the light, which is a normal pistol or rifle light, adapted to our helmets. Now you have this modular adaptability to put whatever you want. Like there's an old picture out there of me with a PAC 15 mounted to my helmet. Remember, I was a military freefall jumpmaster, had a sniper team, and I was in charge of that sniper team. So typically I would jump last, have an infrared signature where I could identify and mark my guys in the sky to be able to communicate non-verbally and verbally to them using the infrared laser. And then I could illuminate the drop zone that was unknown, unmarked. That's the reason why I ran that infrared setup. So now I have the ability to run this, tuck it out of the way, and it's all integrated. Nice, clean, sexy. Man, Ops Corps did such a good job. Even this system here that dials the tension on your head, game changer for Special Operations Command. Now you see this on every SWAT guy's head, if they got the budget, and a lot of civilians are using these. And certainly having night vision, having ear protection, where I could turn up the volume and get the advantage of listening to my environment. Now remember, these are omnidirectional, right? They are not specific and narrow. That's one of the disadvantages, because you hear something and you can't really directionally find that, but that's okay. You could hear the footsteps downstairs before that person hears you. Sometimes it builds a false sense of security, but that is a huge tactical advantage. So I'm willing to grab this, don it, grab my battle belt, don it before I start taking off the Velcro really loudly to don my body armor. In fact, I'm more likely to use my body armor to don on people who I love who aren't as capable. When I was a GRS contractor, we carried around body armor. Not for me. I carried it around for my 500-pound case officer's body because he was dumpy. He didn't know which end of the pistol to hold, and I wanted to protect him. So I want the tactical advantage, and this is going to get me through a lot of tactical scenarios. I wanted to share that experience with you because I think a lot of times we look at tactical equipment and we go, that's really cool, that's really sexy, but we don't have the context. The context is what this entire segment of content is about. Looking forward to all of the Fieldcraft Survivals channel and what my guys are doing in testing and evaluating this so you can make the best decision as a consumer in your preparedness game. So guys, hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you really enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification, because I'll be launching this constantly with all my other content following, and I hope you leave good feedback below, especially what you want to see next, because I'm leaving it up to you. Till next time, peace out.